What's going on, guys? Let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking to keep your home, skin, hair smelling fresh and clean, then you need pound for pound the best fragrance products in the world, and that is Ash Kickin'. I'm talking about everything you need to create a comfortable home living environment and create a comfortable space for entertaining. You need Ash Kickin'. Pound for pound the best incense burners in the world, home fragrance products, and health and beauty products. Go to ashkickin.com. Put in this promo code DBN317 and you'll get 10% off of all your orders. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So as some of you guys probably already know by now, Errol Spence, he gave his take on Thurman's performance dethroning Danny Garcia, and he has some very interesting things to say about Keith Thurman's performance, which is so crazy because almost everything I talked about on the radio show that I just uploaded, Errol Spence, he pretty much said almost all of the things that I just said. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and quote exactly what Errol Spence had to say to Fight Hype. Quote, "I thought Keith Thurman let the later rounds go. He should have pressed on the gas a little bit. The right man won. Congratulations to him. Danny Garcia will definitely be back. I hope I get that fight with Keith Thurman after I beat Kell Brook. What surprised me was Keith Thurman was a little bit strong, especially in the early rounds. I thought Thurman was coming forward a little bit better. He was getting hurt. I thought Danny was hurting him to the body, which made Keith Thurman move around the ring, and he was basically running." End quote. Some very, very interesting things that Errol Spence just said right there. First of all, some of the things he said I totally agree with is I talked about the fact that he obviously took his foot off the gas and he allowed Danny Garcia back in this fight. And I was saying in the radio show or on the radio show that I believe that that was Errol Spence, he would have continued where Keith Thurman left off in like the second and third round, and he would have continued to press. And I believe that Errol Spence would have knocked Danny Garcia out. Something that I believe Keith Thurman possibly could have done in that fight if he would have stayed coming forward. Something else I said before I heard what Errol Spence said is I said it clearly looked like Keith Thurman was doing much better when he was the aggressor as opposed to just moving around the ring. Because originally I thought going into this fight that Keith Thurman would probably do better moving around the ring and catching Danny Garcia with shots and spurts. But no, when he was the aggressor, when he was a little bit more flat-footed, when he was fighting on his front foot, he was a lot more effective in this fight, which is why, once again, I don't understand why he took his foot off the gas. Now, I don't know. Errol Spence said that he thinks maybe Danny Garcia was hurting him to the body. I don't know, but clearly something just triggered inside of Keith Thurman in the middle of nowhere. He just started moving around the ring. I think it was the second or the third round. Keith Thurman was doing great on his front foot, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just started moving around the ring, and once he did that, he allowed Danny Garcia to win that portion of the round. Now, when Errol Spence was asked if he would beat Thurman, Errol Spence responded, "Oh, definitely, 100%. I think I'd walk Keith Thurman down and probably stop him. Keith showed a lot of heart and a lot of power. He can definitely fight. Hopefully, we see what happens when we get in there. Definitely, that's the fight I want right there." End quote. Guys, this is a good time to be a boxing fan because right now, we are getting something in the welterweight division that is reminiscent of the Hagler, Leonard, Hearns, Duran era. I mean, we are getting some serious fire in the welterweight division. The fact that we're getting Thurman-Garcia and then Spence versus Kell Brook all in the same year. And Keith Thurman himself, he said he wants to unify the titles this year. Matter of fact, when I interviewed Keith Thurman, which was about 2 years ago, at least the time I interviewed him around the Bundu fight, and we brought up Errol Spence, he said that Errol Spence should be ready around 2017, and is such an ironic coincidence that now Errol Spence is actually fighting for a title right here in 2017. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But, you know, I told you guys already, I personally think that Kell Brook is going to be a tougher opponent for Errol Spence than a Keith Thurman. But, you know, we're going to see. We're going to see in May. But it's going down, man. It's going down. Shouts out to Al Heyman and the PBC series, man, because never, at least, I shouldn't say never, but probably not in the last 20, 30 years, have we got fights on this level. Thurman versus Garcia on free TV. A fight that you could watch at a bar, at a restaurant, anywhere, in your own damn home without having to pay for it. That's unbelievable. And this is what the sport of boxing needs, because the sport of boxing needs to reach the masses. It needs to reach the very, very casual boxing fans. Those boxing fans that don't even know if Floyd Mayweather is a welterweight or a cruiserweight. The fans that don't even know what fights are coming on this weekend or this month. Those are the fans that boxing needs to target more often, and that is what Al Heyman and the PBC series is doing right now. So I look forward to seeing this rumble, this welterweight explosion that's about to take place, or it's already started taking place. But it should be real good to see what happens in May with Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. Because listen, I'm not a fool. Even though I'm picking Errol Spence to dethrone Kell Brook, I still believe that this is a very difficult fight for Errol Spence. So I wouldn't be real shocked if Kell Brook won the fight. I mean, Kell Brook is the favorite going into this fight. But I believe Errol Spence, he's going to end up inflicting a whole lot of damage and possibly stopping Kell Brook. Or maybe Kell Brook will quit on his stool. We'll see what happens, guys. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.